Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. On this series, I'm kind of doing a video pretty much every Wednesday, and we're just kind of talking about my health journey, the things that I'm going through, the things that I'm learning. I'm kind of sharing all of that with you guys. I am currently treating myself for something called Sibo, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And that is basically just something that is far more common than most people believe it to be. It is the root cause of a lot of IBS, a lot of different medical issues, and for me personally, it's the cause of a lot of my really all of my digestive issues. So basically what the cause of Sibo is, that it is good bacteria that is just in the wrong location. It's bacteria that's supposed to be in the large intestine that has, for whatever various reasons, it is backed up and is now populating the small intestines. Our bodies are created in a very particular way with very particular set of bacteria and things that are supposed to be in certain places. And in the case of Sibo, since that good bacteria is in the wrong place, it is not in its right environment, and it's kind of wreaking havoc. Like, the small intestine is not the place where these particular bacteria are supposed to be. And so these bacteria doing what they're supposed to be doing in the wrong environment creates the wrong reaction. Certain parts of the digestive process are supposed to happen in certain areas by certain bacteria. Certain processes are supposed to happen in your, in your mouth, in your stomach, in your duodenum, in your small intestines, in your large intestines. All of those different things have certain stages of the bacterial process, or certain stages of the digestive process. And when something gets out of whack or happens out of order or things are out of place, it can really cause a lot of issues. And for me personally, it has caused nearly a lifetime of issues. Certainly at least most of my adult life. Just to kind of give you some backstory for myself, I for a very long time have believed that I've had Sibo, and I actually once very successfully treated my Sibo. And that was if you look back on my channel, you might see back in the beginning I was considerably slimmer. I had a much more I was just healthier back then. And that was when I was treating for Sibo and doing a bunch of other things just kind of related to that. I had been doing a lot of that before that, and that's how I was able to get to that point in my life and in my health. And after that, for whatever reason or excuse I want to make up, I let all of that go, and I did not maintain my health, and I did not maintain the things that I needed to maintain in order to stay in that level of health and that level of shape and that level of just well-being in general. And so that's what kind of led me here. And I think probably part of it is that I did not completely kick Sibo. I had just put it in remission for a bit, and then once I woke it back up by eating poorly, I think it just kind of came back with a vengeance. And that's kind of that, along with my personal choices, is what has led me to where I am today. So I had once gotten to my goal weight, and I was in amazing health. My digestion still was better, but not fantastic. And I've just this past week, I'd been kind of looking back at how I was able to get to that point in my health and trying to think of the things that got me to that point. And I realized that the timing of it was right when I was treating for Sibo, so I'm kind of explaining that to you guys here. And it was also right around the time where I was doing some other things. I was going very, very heavy on the probiotics, and that's why I've started to do that recently. I did something, it was a treatment by Dr. Jockers. It was called, I can't remember the exact name, but it was like Intestinal Health Restoration Program or something along those lines. If you Google Dr. Jockers and Sibo, I'm sure you can probably come up with the program. But for me personally, it was a very successful program. I followed the program for, I don't remember exactly how long I followed it for, but I felt amazing, and I followed the program to a T, and I had a fantastic time of it. Basically, the idea of the program is very similar to GAPS, but it has added in a lot of more antibacterial type things. Like, it has you add in like oregano to your soups, and it has you add in like lemon or like cinnamon oils. I can't remember if it was cinnamon. A couple of different antibacterial oils to your water, and it's a very specific type of program. If you are having issues with Sibo, you can't afford to go to the doctor, or you don't want to take the medication for it, I would definitely recommend looking that program up. It was under $100 when I bought it. Well worth it. I would highly recommend it. If I can find a link for the program, I will, but just Google it. Dr. Jocker's Sibo program, or I think it was Intestinal Health Restoration Program, something like that. You'll find something like that. Well worth it. But that was kind of when I was able to heal myself. I was going very, very heavy on the broths, heavy on the soups, and I was doing the very targeted essential oils and doing that sort of thing. And I had a tremendous amount of luck with it, like I mentioned. It's not really the direction that I'm heading, but that's it's given me some things to kind of reflect on and some things to kind of think about. Because I was talking to my husband about it, and he's very, very much of the mind of just count your calories in, calories out, absolutely nothing else matters. And it works for him. It is absolutely 100% correct and true for him and his body. And he has the self-control for it, and his body just works well with that sort of thing. If you were to take 400 calories of good healthy grass-fed beef and 400 calories of Captain Crunch pancakes, they're not going to act equal in my body. They do in his body, so I understand why he's an advocate of it, but for me, it doesn't work. And I was thinking about it, and basically kind of just to sum up my whole thought pattern here, back when I was doing that program and beyond that program, I never once did I ever count a single calorie. Never once. And so I was kind of just kind of thinking and reflecting on that, and I was like, well, why did it work so well that time and it hasn't worked any time since? And I think it was just the combination of all the different things, and just the fact that I had successfully treated for Sibo. So needless to say, I think if you guys are new to this series, I have recently treated Sibo with a couple of different doses of antibiotics, and it has wrecked my body completely. Like, it destroyed my emotions, my thoughts, my feelings, my body, the way that my body digests food, the way that my body assimilates food, my energy levels, like every single thing is different. So I think I'm not planning on anything short of the good Lord himself coming down and telling me, hey, take that dose of antibiotics again. I don't think I will be doing that treatment again, whether this round was successful or not. I'm definitely, and I don't think it was, I'm definitely going to be doing the much more natural route, like I was doing before with the Dr. Jocker's program. Probably not that route, but I'm definitely going to be doing something fairly similar to that. I need to come up with something of my own. I honestly don't know what path I'm going to be taking moving forward. And that's probably why, like, sometimes I come on here and I have one path, and then I have another path, and then a different path, and I'm just like, I just want to find something that works well for me, something that I know that I can follow, and something that I know will yield results. But my main priority at the moment, again, is just healing my body. So I have I didn't come across, a friend of mine, Sharon, gave me this book, Super Gut, and I have been following it, I've been reading it, and I've been trying to understand the program and how I can implement it into my life. There's a couple of different paths that he suggests in this book, and I think I'm gonna kind of mesh together the Dr. Jocker's program and Dr. William Davis' program, and that is kind of possible. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I need to kind of ponder it and figure out the implications of it, because we are in the middle of, this is an Airbnb. This is not our normal house. We have a lot of different transitions coming up, and I need to make sure that whatever I end up picking and choosing to do moving forward is something that I can actually stick to, because I'm not great at sticking to things, as I'm sure you figured out. I'll fess to it. I have a hard time maintaining these sorts of things if it's not something that I'm seeing results with. And it doesn't have to be immediate results, but it has to be something that makes sense to me and something that I think will end up having results. Like, I stuck with GAPS for a pretty darn long time until I finally there was zero improvement at all for my symptoms that I had. And honestly, if I thought that I would have more benefit, I would even do it again. I absolutely would. I think the GAPS program for most things is fantastic. However, my particular set of issues, it didn't do anything for. So I may end up, I have no idea where I'm going to go. I'm going to be totally real, but I do know where that path is taking me is fermented foods. I have, ever since I started about 2 weeks ago, I have truly overloaded my body with fermented foods. I have been having probably 2 to 3 pints of kombucha every day. I've been having a quart of kefir every day. I've been having fermented vegetables. I have been having sour cream, like naturally fermented sour cream. There's just all sorts of things. Any opportunity that I even fermented mayonnaise, and it's delicious, but any opportunity that I can find to insert fermented foods in my life, I am doing it. Another thing that I've been doing is going very low carb. That is another suggestion of this book. This book has a very long section on why. It tells you why, and that is, it's really difficult to quantify how important that is for somebody like me. If I don't know the why, it's very likely I'm not going to stick to it, because if it doesn't make sense to me, something has to make sense for me to stick to it. And that's what I really enjoy about this book. Like, he goes into really great detail about like what happens in your gut, what leads to Sibo, the backstory of how all of these different microbes have been basically eliminated from our gut as a society, not just as an individual, the things that you can do to prevent further loss of it, the things that you can do to help your body to recreate those bacterias, and not recreate the bacterias, but re-inoculate yourself with those bacterias, and just the things that you can do to help to eliminate the Sibo from your body. You can do it from several different pathways. You can do it chemically, like I have tried. You can also do it herbally. There's a couple of different types of herbal regimens that you can do, and you can also do it with something that he has, the Sibo yogurt, which is Lactobacillus Rudorai yogurt, as he puts it. It's not actually technically a yogurt. There's a certain set of bacteria that legally need to be in yogurt to call it a yogurt, but it's basically the same process. You're just fermenting milk with a certain set of bacteria and creating a thick yogurt textured milk, and it has a particular set of bacteria in it that will do a certain things inside your body. L. Rudorai bacteria, its main home is actually in the lower part of the upper intestines, the large intestines, and the small intestines. Its home is in the small intestines, and that particular L. Rudorai, it produces a lot of different things. It helps with your oxytocin levels, so it helps you be happy. It helps you with like skin growth. It helps you to strengthen your gut bacteria, your gut area, like the junctions and the mucus and all of those sorts of things. But one thing that it also does is when it stays in the small intestines, it actually exudes its own antibacterial properties. It off-puts a natural antibacterial agent. I'm having a hard time actually putting it into words, but basically it gets the bacteria that's not supposed to be in your small intestines. It kicks it out and kicks it back to your large intestines, and it kind of takes over where it belongs. And a big reason as to why a lot of people these days have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth is because of the lack of L. Rudorai bacteria in our bodies. It's been killed off from, generations of antibacterial antibiotics, antibacterial soap, glyphosate. All of those sorts of things have led to the point that we as a society have gotten to, where a lot of our, as he puts it, keystone bacterial species have been eliminated from our bodies and are no longer there, but they're still needed. Basically, I was kind of going through a lot of his points that he has. I kind of skipped ahead to week 1 of his 4-week program that he has in the book. I'm not going to give you a ton of details. I definitely think you guys should get the book, and it will give you a lot more information than you need. I'm not just gonna go and give away the guy's secrets, you know what I'm saying? You want to avoid sugar or any sugar containing products, and he basically says that you should limit each meal to under 15 grams of carbohydrates, net carbs per meal. And a net carb is basically just you take the carbs that are in the meal and you subtract the dietary fiber or any sugar alcohols that may be in there, and that's your net carbs. All that information is available on the label, and it's also, if you're buying like a Whole Foods product, you can actually find it on, there's a lot of different apps that you can put on your phone that will tell you all of that sort of nutritional information. It also says to avoid any kind of synthetic sugars. You want to avoid like any sucralose or aspartame, things like that. Avoid any of those kinds of unnatural sweeteners. And there are a lot of other alternative sweeteners that you can use. There's like allulose, there are monk fruit, stevia, I'm trying to think of a few other ones, but you basically just want to switch over to using those kinds of, the more natural type of alternative sweeteners. It also says that you want to avoid any kind of emulsifiers, and that's polysorbate 80 and carboxymethylcellulose is also another one that he lists. It's so avoid those two and any other things that are known as emulsifiers. And another thing that I've been learning from this book, you also want to make sure that you're avoiding any kind of preservatives. Anything that's listed on the label as a preservative is terrible. Just don't do it. You want to make sure that you're choosing organic foods and avoiding any kind of grains, wheats, grains, oats, millet, any of those sorts of things. You want to avoid those. He does give a few alternatives in there that are very, they're pretty reasonable alternatives, especially for anybody who has spent any great deal of time like I have being gluten-free. I'm fairly familiar with most of the flours that are in there. And he's also saying that with the help of your doctor, you should make sure that you're tapering off any kind of pharmaceuticals. I don't take any other than an inhaler, which I can't really taper off of, and so that one doesn't really apply to me. And he says that you want to make sure that you're replacing various specific vitamins and minerals. So vitamin D is going to amplify your intestinal immune response. It helps with mental clarity and heart health. And then also vitamin omega-3. You want to make sure that you're including lots of omega-3 fatty acids in your diet. You can do that through fish oil, as well as consuming a couple of times a week, consuming some smaller fish. It helps to improve the intestinal lining, and it helps to improve the immune response in the colon. He also suggests supplementing iodine. He suggests using an iodine, or not an iodine, a kelp tablet, or a certain type of like a dropper full iodine type thing. I think that's probably what I'm going to end up going with. And it's basically just to help to support your thyroid. You need it to create your thyroid or thyroid hormones, and which are really important for the body, especially as a female, but really for anybody. And it also helps if you have a lack of iodine, it can slow down your intestinal response time, and basically gives you slow motility, which can actually bring on Sibo. And if you already have Sibo, it can worsen Sibo. Another thing that he suggests is taking magnesium, and I generally do take magnesium when I need to, but he's kind of suggesting it as more of like a daily supplement, and it can help with it's an osmotic type of thing, and basically what it does is it draws water into the colon and kind of helps with any kind of intestinal mobility issues. There's a few other things like helping with blood sugar and blood pressure and things like that, but for the most part, it kind of helps move things through you. The last supplement that he kind of suggests taking is actually curcumin, and I thought it was kind of interesting because most people try and tell you to take the high absorption curcumin, and he actually says you want to take the opposite. You want to take the stuff that is low absorption because you want it to not absorb into your body. You want it to stay in your colon, basically, and you want it to stay there as an antibacterial agent. It's moving through your colon and moving through your intestines and helping you to kind of get rid of all of the bad bacteria that is in your colon. You're using it in the beginning stages of this process to help you kind of kill off the bacteria. You're using it basically as an aid for that, and it helps to reduce the population of the bad bacteria that's in the wrong places. It helps aid in the production of the mucosal lining. And then another thing that it helps with, again, is it helps improve intestinal immune response. You know, all of these things are basically just helping to build your immune system. And in case you were unaware, your immune system predominantly, like I think the number that I read was something upwards of 80 to 90% of your immune system is actually in your gut. So if your gut is out of whack, your immune system is out of whack. So you got to do everything you can to kind of heal, seal, and give your body everything it needs to build up a good, strong, healthy gut. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good, healthy, strong immune system. Two more things that he suggests with this particular week one of doing this is hydrating, making sure you're drinking tons and tons of water, which is definitely an area that I lack in. I tend to drink coffee instead of water all the time, and that is something that I'm very convicted about, and it's something that I definitely need to fix. And another thing that he's suggesting, he has a particular recipe for a clove tea that is also supposed to help build up your immune system, or build up your intestinal lining, and to help build up your intestinal mucus lining as well. So I thought those were both very interesting. I'm definitely going to be giving that recipe a try, and I'm going to try and figure out some way to make myself just drink more darn water. And I definitely know it's something that I need to do. I drink way too much coffee. The level of coffee that I drink, you could definitely classify as too much coffee. I drink an entire pot before I've even left the house, and then I continue to drink throughout the day. I probably drink at least 2 pots a day, maybe 3, depending on the day. So I think I definitely would qualify as too much coffee, and especially because I'm drinking it instead of water. So I think I'm probably going to give myself some kind of a cutoff time. I think I've talked about this on here before, but I think just kind of reading this, because I hadn't read this part of the chapter and kind of the importance of making sure you're staying hydrated. So I think I'm definitely going to be putting more of an emphasis on figuring out a way to drink more water, less coffee. I'll probably put a time limit or a consumption amount limit on my coffee. Probably a time limit, like I'll just drink coffee until a certain time of the day, and then I'm just going to switch over to this clove tea and water and kind of see where that takes me. So I hope that this video is not too terribly boring or repetitive for you guys. I am just trying to share my journey and trying to share all the things that I'm learning, and every week it might seem like I'm changing to a different thing, and that's because oftentimes I am, but that is simply because of new information that I'm gathering. I'm constantly learning, reading, absorbing, watching, all different sorts of things, trying to learn the latest and greatest thing that I can try to kind of get myself on the right track to healing. I'm so happy that you guys are following along with this journey as well. I hear so many of you guys down in the comment section below that are getting benefit from this and just kind of relating to my story, and I really appreciate you guys letting me know that. It definitely helps me, and I think it helps other people as well, because others read the comments too. So if you do enjoy this video, you guys are amazing and awesome. I love you guys, and you're fantastic. So I wish you guys all the best in your journey as well. So anyways, if you do enjoy this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up. It helps with all the googly algorithmic things. And if you guys are new around here, I do these videos about every Wednesday, and I also do all kinds of food preservation videos, canning, freezing to hydrating, fermenting, as well as ways that you can actually prepare those said preserved recipes. So if that interests you, make sure you hit the subscribe button right here. This video up here is one that Mr. Google Pants thinks that you're going to enjoy. This video is my last Wellness Wednesday, and this is my Wellness Wednesday playlist. This is the one that has all of my past crazy adventures and things that I've been trying. So I hope you guys enjoy this. We'll see you next time. Bye.